Aroma Thyme Bistro presents Wine Thyme Live, hosted by the Hudson Valley's premier green certified entrepreneurs, Marcus and Jamie Guiliano. So grab a glass of your favorite vino, sit back, relax, and travel with them, sharing their passion discovering unique vineyards, outstanding wines, delicious food, and great adventure.
Hello, everybody. Hello, hello. We are going live. Marcus is grabbing something.
Turning off the fan.
All right, it is Jamie and Marcus here. We are Wine Thyme Live, number 23 episode. I don't remember what you called it. The hottest spot in Italy.
The hottest spot in Italy.
So
I think this office is going to be hot very soon. We just turned off the air conditioning, and because we don't want any noise feedback. So our office is going to be probably the hottest spot in New York. But yeah, Italy, the hottest spot in Italy. Wine Thyme Live number 23. Welcome everybody. We are Jamie and Marcus, and we are going to talk about traveling to Italy, one of our favorite regions in Italy that we have an upcoming trip to in April of 2022. And that region is, Jamie, what's that region?
Apulia.
Apulia.
Yeah, so southern Italy. The heel of the boot.
Jamie's opening a bottle of wine.
Sorry, I'm opening a bottle of wine.
If you're watching it, you can see it, but if you can hear it.
Snaps.
Let's see. Oh, yeah.
All right.
So, we went to the travel show right before COVID hit in November. We went to the travel show and in 2019, and the reason why we're calling this the hot spot of Italy is because the travel and tourism industry has named it that. They have recognized that southern Italy, Apulia, the heel of the boot, is one of the up-and-coming tourist areas in Italy, and it's southern Italy, so it is hot down there. It is in the heel of the boot. Really unique situation down there in the. Let's just get into the intro first, and we'll start talking about the wine and everything. So, of course, all this is brought possible because we own Aroma Thyme Bistro in Ellenville, New York, and Aroma Thyme founded in 2003, farm to table cuisine, with I think a pretty cool wine list. Do you think it's cool?
Yeah, I think it's
awesome.
So those of you that don't know about Aroma Thyme, we pride ourselves on independent spirits, wines, liquors, and beers. So independently owned and operated. We definitely do it we do it behind the bar with our spirits, but our wine is super important. We like to build relationships with the wines that we buy, also with the wineries that we want to visit. So, and that we have on our list. So I think it's super cool what we do. I think that I don't think there's any other restaurants that do what we do in terms of going to the wineries, visiting the wineries, and building relationships with the wineries.
There are wineries that do that in particular regions. Restaurants. There are restaurants that, like, if you're like in France, in Burgundy, France, you have a small wine list and everything comes from your area,
of course,
then you know it and you've been to it. But as far as a restaurant in New York, traveling to California extensively, all throughout New York extensively, and then through Italy really extensively, to hand pick and build relationships and bring back what we feel is some of the best wine. And we've been to wineries that we don't want to buy from anymore.
And we won't buy from.
In California, definitely. New York, absolutely. And Spain and Italy. There's some wineries we went to that were just like, not our cup of tea. Not our glass of wine. Not
because the people are nice, but just because maybe they're way too big for us. Maybe their hospitality isn't great. Many different reasons.
Or their wine isn't good.
Their wine, we just don't care for it.
Or they're just not nice people.
Right.
We don't like to buy from not nice people.
Absolutely.
We like to give our money and your money to nice people that are doing nice wines, organically, hopefully.
That's very, very important to us.
So, and of course, VIP Winery Vacations, travel with us to Italy, boutique wine tours all throughout Italy. April 2022 is our next trip.
But we don't only do Italy.
We don't only do Italy.
So we do the Finger Lakes. We're actually in the process of planning our next Finger Lakes trip, right?
It was a 12-hour day in the office today. It was a long day in the office today because we were on the phone with Italy. I had lots of messages back and forth to Italy today. New York as well. And so we have we mapped out our whole calendar for the next year and a half of travel.
Well, you mapped it out. I haven't seen it yet.
You haven't seen it. Well, you'll see it.
I'll see it. I'm just kidding. I don't even know what we have planned. All I know is that we planned Italy in 2022, April 2022, and I am in the works of planning the Finger Lakes in November 2021.
Yep.
So
you get on a waiting list. That trip is kind of sold out. So
the Italy trip?
We can only take 12 people.
Oh, okay.
We only take 12 people plus you and me and Luigi, our tour guide. They're only doing small tours in Italy right now.
Okay.
15 people max. So that's the kind of deal. We're not going to be able to take 24 people. I don't know if anybody's doing tours that size. I don't know, like the big tour companies, I don't know if they're putting a big coach bus together, putting 50 people on a bus. I don't know if they're doing that. All I know is our people that help us travel and plan everything for us there, they'll connect the dots for us, the logistics. They're like, Marcus, 12 plus the 3 of you, 15, that's really it. So I said, ooh, okay, that's kind of understandable and expectable.
Right.
Although that may raises the price a little bit because, you have to, everything costs money. Everything's going up in price, of course. Everything across the board.
Absolutely.
I'm not telling you anything anybody doesn't know. So, Jamie, what is today's winery?
So today we are drinking Negro Amaro from Scola Serramente. So if you are actually watching us, you can see the bottle. If you are on listening to us, Scola Serramente, Schola, Serramente, Sarmenti. They are in, where are they again? Salento. That's
Salento,
right,
so southern Italy. So further south of Lecce, so they're really down there. And we're drinking Negro Amaro. Negro Amaro, little translation is Negro Black, Amaro Bitter. Tiny little black bitter grapes is a Negro Amaro grape. Italy's are interesting because they name a lot of their grapes after birds as well.
We did hear that one.
Yeah, a lot. Yeah, birds love grapes, so they just name the grapes after certain birds in that region. I think there's a bird problem in every wine region because birds love grapes everywhere, just not in Italy.
Well, because they can fly down quickly, swoop in, grab a grape, and run away.
Italy also has a big problem with boars in vineyards. Napa does too, but Italy all over. I mean, Italy all over. We've actually sat in vineyards. We've actually sat in vineyards tasting with the owners of the vineyards. Sat there, and all of a sudden you look outside and there's just a boar walking out, like literally like 50 feet out the building.
Right, yeah.
There's a big black boar just walking across, and he's like, "Oh yeah,
it's normal.
He's here to eat. I got to get rid of him." When we went to Matera on my morning run, I saw 5 boars in the state park there. They were on the trail. 2 adults or 3 adults and 2 babies. It was 5. It was some babies and some adults, and they were just walking on the way on the trail there in Matera in the national park. So Matera is right near Apulia. It's in Basilicata, which is the neighboring territory, northwest a little bit towards Naples. But Scola Serramente, an 1850 farmhouse down in that area.
It was vacant for a very long time, wasn't it?
Vacant for 50 years or so. 50 years, and I believe it was a winery to begin with. I'm not 100% sure.
And when we went there to visit, it's beautiful inside.
The biggest thing for me is when we look at pictures of the vineyards we've been to, and we're like, oh my gosh, I just want to go back there. I want to take you back there. We want to go back there. We want to see.
We can't wait to get back there.
This vineyard, and it's in the city. It's in a little village.
It's small. Like I remember standing outside and looking at all the containers that they had.
Right.
Correct. And the door, the way it opened. Remember that? That was so cool. And then they took us downstairs into their wine cellar.
So some wineries are actually on the vineyard where there's lots of land and rolling hills and mountains and picturesque.
And this one's in a city.
It's in a little village.
Yeah, we actually thought we were going to like a wine shop, like when we got there.
It looked like a wine shop.
It looked like a wine shop.
Yeah.
So
we walked in the building. We're just looking at this.
It was beautiful.
And we're like, oh my gosh.
The ceilings were rounded, if I remember correctly.
Yep. A lot of the architecture, they're arched to build extra support, like subway walls. The ceilings, how they're arched. Well, there's that arch thing. The arched architecture builds strength and support, and it's very common in winery cellars and in wineries. So it was a farmhouse, a masseria. I remember that now. It was an 1800s masseria. It was vacant for 50 years. The 2 partners opened it up. Spent 3 years renovating it, and it's like walking back in time.
It was beautiful. It was beautiful, and they make amazing wines, and they gave us a great tasting. Do you remember there was a couple there too?
There was a couple there from England.
Is that where they were from? But they lived there for a few weeks, and then they would go back to, I don't remember.
England.
Where
It was
from.
English. They spoke English.
Okay.
Then there was a lady there who did nothing but tours to
in
Apulia.
Italy. Yeah.
And she was from Germany?
I believe
She was
so.
from Germany, and she did nothing but tours in southern Italy. That was her deal. I do wine tours, and it's in southern Italy, and Scuola Sarmente is one of the best wineries down here, and she knew the owners as well, and so we had a great time with these.
I should actually reach out and say hello to her and see how she's doing. We became friends on WhatsApp at one point, so
yeah, reach out to her.
Reach out and see how her business is doing right now. So,
yeah. The great thing today was, when I was sending messages out to everybody in Italy, I would do little group messages of this winery owner, that on Facebook, this wine, and because they all know each other, right?
Right.
So they'd all answer back, and one would be like, "Yeah, I'm in. Is I hope you're in, so and so, and we're waiting for so and so to answer." And so it was really cool because they all know each other. They're all friends down there, and it's great to be able to have these contacts and connections. So Scuola Sarmente, not a picturesque outdoor part of where there's rolling vineyards. But once you walk inside, and the outside is so cute, and the building is, to die for.
Windows everywhere.
Windows everywhere, an outside courtyard. So you drive through this town, and all of a sudden you pull up to the property.
Roads, right?
Yeah, and there was barely any parking.
Yeah, there was
barely any parking. Yeah, and once we walked through their gate, the world transforms.
It was beautiful. It was beautiful.
And I can't wait to go back there. And they had built this amazing bar back there with all their wines. The cellar, everything in this farmhouse in Masseria was refurbished to original, and the door. Remember the big door?
The big door, yeah. Was it a wooden door? Or
it was a wooden door.
Yeah. So yeah, I can't wait to get back here. And we're gonna go here, right? This is
the southernmost winery we're gonna go to in Apulia. Yeah. But we're gonna go further than this when we take our trip, because we're gonna go down to the Cape and watch the sunset over the Ionian Adriatic Sea.
Beautiful. So in that part of southern Italy, Apulia, it's the boot. The heel of the boot. From one ocean to the other ocean is only 30 miles apart, right?
Well, it gets narrower as you go down.
It gets narrower, but it was so cool because when we were talking to some of the winery owners, they were saying how in the morning when they wake up, they decide where the best sun is going to be, where the best beach is going to be, the wind or whatever it is that they're looking for, and they go to that beach. So they either go to the east or the west
east
side.
or the west coast.
So which is really, really cool. Like I found that to be very interesting.
The beaches there in southern Italy and the coastline is so stunning because you have beaches, but then you have these just cliffs.
Rock formations.
Rock formations, the way the water works its way into it.
So blue. The water was so blue. Remember when we went? Yeah, it was
so you have vineyards that are sitting literally on the beach. They're a half a kilometer from the beach, and you walk in the fields there, and there are tons of wild herbs: rosemary, thyme, oregano, all these wild. You can just pick them up and smell, and you'll recognize all these wild herbs. But do you remember the sheep herders?
Oh yeah, I remember them. They were just like walking on the street.
They stop traffic, folks. This part of Italy, when they're so relaxed down there. Italy's relaxed anyway.
So
the pace of life is relaxed.
Part of the story of that area, though, is that people used to grow grapes there, but then they would bring them up north, to sell them,
or a co-op,
and it was they were just making money from that. They did not have wineries. They had vineyards. They didn't have wineries, right? So it wasn't open for the public.
Or they shipped their juice up north.
Yes.
So because it was such a poor part of Italy, really poverty-stricken in that part of Italy, and in fact in Matera and Basilicata, until the 50s to the 1970s, there were still cave dwellers, primitive cave dwellers living in caves in that part of Italy. So everybody did a reverse, what is it? A reverse migration or reverse.
They migrated down.
They went up north.
They went up north to bring their grapes and
to get jobs.
Yeah.
And they get jobs.
And then they'd live in the south and they'd go back down. So the south is being built up now. From ground up.
So
basically.
when you look at the Italian wine designations, so you see things like Barolo, Brunello, Amarone. These are all Chianti Classico. These are all regions in Italy that are well established for 100, 200 years. When you look in the south, the designations set forth by the government all in 1980, 1990, 2000, because it's such a very new, I don't want to say it's a new wine region, because they have the history of growing grapes.
Not new wines, but it's a new region for tourists.
New region for tourists, but it's a new region for wine making.
Right,
winemaking.
Winemaking and tourists.
And tourists, absolutely. So So growing grapes to them is nothing new. Making wine to them is nothing new. But to have their own official
wineries that you can,
wine regions, documented wine regions from the government, that's brand new. That's within the last 20, 30 years, 40 years, really 30 years, 40, 20 years, where now you can say, here's Salento, and here's a certification for Salento. Here's Primitivo de Mandurian, here's Gravina, here's a certification for Gravina. In the north, they've had the certifications for 100, 200 years, and that's because it's well established.
Yeah.
So with these grapes, because they were so poor and poverty down there, they grew grapes. They were farmers, but they wouldn't have the facilities to have their own equipment, and from there, they would have to get a co-op together where 10 families, 20 families, 100 families got together and paid for some equipment, and they all shared the equipment.
Right.
Or they would just take their grapes and ship them up north, and they would get blended into Chiantis and into other wines up north of Piemonte. They were blending grapes. So they never really had the proper finances to have their own representation as a real wine region, and that's changed. That's the part that's changed in the last 30 years. And
but it's still generation after generation. Now it's just the newer generations making the wine.
Right. They're the ones that are So we were down there. We're gonna do Productoria de Manduria in one of our lives on one of our podcasts, because our distributor.
That was a co-op, right?
It's a co-op, and our distributor knows we're not fond of co-ops. Yeah. And Joey sent us to this co-op, not telling us what it was, because we went there a year and a half ago, and he goes, "Go check out this winery. You're gonna be there. Check them out." And we pulled in. I'm like, "This guy sent us to a co-op," but we were blown away. Top-notch co-op. Really, met the whole staff there. Still friends with them on Facebook. Talked to them on a regular basis outside of business. But I did message Anna from there today, and she's waiting for us to come in April, and very excited, and keep her posted. So we were blown away, and we'll do one of them on our lives soon, because we're getting more wine from them.
We are. Yes.
So Scola Sarmente, they make a lot of different wines. This one we're drinking tonight is Negro Amaro. It's going to be a little bit denser, a little heavier.
A little heavier. It's a little heavy for
not the best wine for this weather.
No.
But I wanted to talk about the winery in that region, really. So back to the sheep herders. So these sheep herders, we were on the winery and in the vineyards, and all of a sudden, like, I had the drone up.
There had to have been 100 sheep.
100, 200. I had the drone up, and I'm like, "What is that patch of like migration things down there?" And they're like, he's like, "Oh, that's the this is at a different." Andrea was like, "Well, that's the sheep herders." And on our way back at another spot, we had to stop the car for 10, 15 minutes. And he goes, "This is normal." He goes, "When you drive somewhere down here, expect to stop the car 10 to 15 minutes on a daily basis, because the sheep herders just walk from farm to farm with their sheep, and they're just walking through." And he goes,
and it's
part
so
of our
cool
life.
How they just follow the sheep herd. It's it's just very cool. Different way of life. It's a very more casual, relaxed life. Yeah.
Andrea was like, "That's just what happens."
One of my favorite areas, I have to say, in Italy. It is not as commercialized. It's not. It's just very relaxed down there. It's beautiful.
And Lecce is amazing.
I love Lecce.
Lecce is the Florence of the South, they call it. And this city has everything. And it is the hotel we stay at is right across the street from the Coliseum. Mm-hmm. Really, really great. The Resimento hotel, beautiful. So yeah. So folks, if you want to join us in Italy, check out VIPWineryVacations.com. Check that out, that website. We have lots of tours there. Whether you want to join us in Italy or the Finger Lakes, or
you never know. We might do other places as well. People are
asking us for
Napa. We've heard Napa a lot lately.
Napa. We've also heard France.
Yeah.
We've heard Bordeaux, which you're not a fan of Bordeaux.
No,
but you would be if you drank Bordeaux if you drank Bordeaux for 9 days.
We really want to go to Champagne. So.
But if you drank Bordeaux for a full week, the
maybe
whites and reds, you'd appreciate them more. Being there and understanding it, you'd appreciate them more.
Yes.
So you don't have to be a wine expert to go on our trips.
You do not.
In fact, some people are like, "Well, I don't really drink much wine at all." At the end of the trips, they're like, "Oh my gosh.
Wow, I like this or I like that." Or a lot of people don't really know about wines, and they just want to experience that. And it's not only wine heavy, but it's a lot of good food from the region. We like to plan out all of the restaurants that we go to and all of the wineries that we visit. And so they're so accommodating at the wineries, and the food is phenomenal and fresh and delicious too. So you do not have to be a wine drinker. You have to just be open and want to travel. So if you want to travel with us, VIPWineryVacations.com. We'd love for you to join us on one of our trips.
And we do more than Apulia, so we do Florence to Tuscany, or I'm sorry, Rome to Florence, or Rome to Tuscany. And through Tuscany, we do Northern Piemonte, we do Verona, we do a bunch of different things. So check out our website. Dates are coming up. We tried to update it today. We quite haven't gotten everything published yet, but check that out, and hope to see you here or there soon.
Absolutely.
Wherever. Hope to see you wherever soon.
Thank you for joining us today, and thank you for everything, right?
Yep.
All right.
Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.